Roy, we're obviously in a very strange situation right now. You as a captain in modern times, how do you think you would have handled it? Because it seems that captains now have enormous responsibility on them, almost being asked to be union leaders as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would have dealt with it, but I do feel I have a lot of sympathy for the players out there, because once again, a lot of players are getting criticised. The way I would look at it now, I suppose particularly the way I left United, and I'm probably talking about players at the really big clubs who were obviously a lot of wealthy owners and a lot of pressure to take pay cuts, etc. I wouldn't take a pay cut from anybody if I was at one of the bigger clubs. I know there's pressure on players, but it's nobody's business what you do with your wages. I think you take your wages, and if you want to be generous, go ahead and do it. There's a lot of speculation out there. I don't think anyone should be believing anything they're reading about what players are doing, whether they're taking 10% or 15%. Eventually, there's been a few statements from probably clubs near the bottom of the Premiership over the last week or so. They've obviously took 10 or 15%. But I don't think players should feel under pressure from clubs, particularly the bigger clubs, that takes you pay cuts. They've signed a contract. I know everyone's different personal details, but your contract with the club is a personal matter. And this idea that all the players should take a pay cut, all the players have to do this, and I think that's nonsense. I think it's up to the individual. And if they want to stick to their guns and say, listen, I'm sticking with my full wages while we've got a billionaire in the background, then do it. Don't be swayed by some sort of pressure by the media, who will constantly write lies anyway about certain players. And all it is speculation. And I'm really surprised at the amount of people, I suppose, jumping on the bandwagon with criticism of the players. It's nobody's business. And I'm talking about the top clubs here who've got the really wealthy owners. Obviously, I have a lot of sympathy for the clubs. Obviously, in the lower leagues, you obviously make sacrifices, of course. But the players near the top and the clubs have the money, then stick to your guns.
Roy, I'm not surprised that you just said that, because obviously you're really protective of the players when you're in the dressing room at United. But if what the Premier League did a few weeks ago, which was basically put a blanket statement out there saying that every player, they're looking for a 30% deferred cut. The players went away and then set up their own WhatsApp group, and I've reneged, I think, and I've pushed back. And it's fair to say they're probably backing what you're saying. I think is it fair to say you would have reacted angrily in your day if the Premier League had tried something like that with, obviously, you were captain of United at the time?
Yeah. I think if we're talking about the bigger clubs here, where the money is available to the players, and people then and certain individuals getting criticised, I think it's unfair. And even again, when we were in the dressing room at Man United, I think we'd all have. It was different personalities. Everyone could make their own choice. I don't think it was a case of everyone go, we all have to do this, we all have to take 10%. It's up to the players individually. And what you find with some of the players who are obviously getting their full wages, they might be the most generous people on the planet, and let them do what they want with it. Just because they're not putting on social media doesn't mean to say they're not doing their own bit, whatever, for the NHS or whatever charity work they might be involved in. So I would certainly fight the players' corner, of course, and take it from there.
But Roy, yes, I accept the point that we're talking about billionaire owners, you're talking about the biggest, the wealthiest football clubs. But if their revenues suddenly stop, or the majority of their revenues suddenly stop, and their income drops by 25%, is it not fair then to go to the players and say, look at the situation that we're in as a business, can you not help us in these strange circumstances?
Well, from my own experiences, again, from dealing with, I suppose, my contract situations, even when I was at Forest, when I was at Man United, when I was negotiating new deals, or the day I was leaving the clubs made it pretty clear to me on every aspect of any contract negotiations I had that it's a business. And I understood that. But I signed a contract, and I expected the clubs to honour that contract. And I know circumstances have changed, and I'll repeat myself. I'm talking about the clubs who have the money available to them. I've had discussions when I was at Nottingham Forest. I was literally on the same money for 2.5 years. Eventually, I got a pay rise, and I was told I was greedy. I went to Man United. Man United discussed with me, we can't match Blackburn Rovers. Man United couldn't match Blackburn Rovers. Can you believe that? with the wages. Eventually, after United a few years, I signed a new contract. Man United sent out letters to support us saying season tickets have gone up because of my contract. The day I left the club, I sat in front of Ferguson and Gill, who discussed cash flow problems. Brilliant. So that's the business side of it. So when the clubs come to the players now, and again, the bigger clubs who've got billionaires in the background come to the clubs almost saying, listen, we're in big trouble. No. You honour that contract. You honour the contract. And if players in the dressing room, I was in a brilliant dressing room at Man United with a lot of different individuals, different characters, different traits. And if certain players wanted to give up some of their wages, certain players wanted to keep their wages, then good luck to him. That's up to the player. That's up to the individual. So this idea that we should be getting these players to be giving up their wages with the big clubs, forget about it, because these clubs are the first to tell you, this is a business, lads. This is how it works. Okay, let's get through these next few months if we're a business, and we'll get through it. And these guys who are billionaires in the background, they're ruthless, they're shrewd people. And then they come looking to the players and they're discussing cash flow problems, etc. I've heard it all before. I take no notice of it.